12 minutes to go in normal time. Liverpool 3-0. Corner taken quickly, Origi! Yeah! Yeah!
Hello and welcome to the Redscast podcast. At first, I must apologise that we didn't do one after the Leipzig game. It's my fault. Game come at me too quick. I'm joined this week by Ste. Again, the return of Ste. How are we doing?
Excellent. Off the back of a good result for a change lately, innit?
Yeah, I know, we've been awful. But I said on a pre-match, and a post-match that we'd batter Leipzig.
Yeah, to be fair, like, the performances in general, we've had one or two that have been a bit off the boil, but we haven't been that far off winning a lot of them games, have we? Just at the small margins and the little final ball here and there, it just seemed to come together against Leipzig, didn't it?
Yeah, well, in the Leicester game, we'll touch on that first, because I haven't touched on it yet. I think we were the better team for 65 minutes, and then it was almost as though when they scored, it was drop the heads. Awful.
It's just a sign of where the confidence is at with the players, isn't it? Because, I mean, I wouldn't exactly say we dominated the game, because in the past we've dominated games more than that game, but we were worth the points up to that point, for sure.
Would you have blamed Alisson?
for the mad one where he come out and took Kabak out?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I blame Alisson for that, because, say, Kabak's 35 yards out away from goal. Alisson's got no right to be anywhere near that. He should trust his defence to deal with that.
I know, because if Kabak was in the wrong, people would be like, oh, you should trust your keeper. But then Klopp came out and sort of blamed him after it, saying, oh, he's inexperienced, he knows how he's a ball-playing goalkeeper. And I was just like, no. No,
absolutely. You can't expect your keeper to be that far out when maybe he's dealt with it, maybe he wouldn't. But you've got to, in that part of the pitch, you've got to trust your defender to deal with it. You can't come flying out.
What about Trent? People were saying he had a really good game, but for me, he didn't. It was like he was... I can understand this season with Trent that he's defending more. Him and Robbo have been made to defend more, but I feel as though Robbo's getting forward more because he's got more cover on the left side of the field, like people holding back for him and stuff. But with Trent, it feels as though... I know Robbo's faster, so maybe that's why he can get forward more, because he can get back quicker, where Trent can't.
Trent's a weird one. His touch and his passing seems to be coming back. He did lose that for a few weeks, didn't he? That seems to be coming back to close to its best now, but positional wise, I don't know. Like, when I see players constantly in the wrong, what I perceive to be the wrong position, I then think I must be wrong, because you can't. I used to do it with Alberto Moreno all the time. I'd be like, he's out of position, but he just kept getting played. So it's obviously a tactical thing. He's obviously supposed to be in that position. It just looks wrong.
I mean, with Trent, I was moaning, thinking he's jogging back, and then one of my mates said to me, well, he always does that, but you just don't notice it as much because Van Dijk's rapid.
Yeah.
And then, so I started watching some games from last year, and Trent will bomb it forward, but then he'll like stroll back.
Yeah.
And so it's obviously that's where he's preserving his energy, but it's frustrating when we haven't got Van Dijk in the team.
I know. At the minute we haven't got Fabinho or a Henderson in that sitting role who will drop in and cover.
Yeah.
Although we've got a player there, we haven't got that type of player who will drop in. Like, I think it's been Thiago, hasn't it, or Wijnaldum?
It's been Wijnaldum mainly, yeah.
I noticed that on, was it Sky or BT, they highlighted Thiago's positioning and how, where if it was Henderson playing there, Henderson, they showed, would drop back into that position, and Thiago was slightly slower dropping back into that position, but that's not him. You know what I mean? I can't fully blame Thiago for that. Like, I don't want to blame Thiago for anything, because I just love him.
I mean, Thiago's actually, people are expecting him to have this same position that he had at Bayern at Liverpool, and it's a different position. I'll get on to it. The Athletic done a fantastic article about how he's had to like change his game, change his position and stuff, and it makes sense because Liverpool play a completely different style of football to Bayern.
You can't just say, oh, you're a number 6, so you play that exact same number 6 you play for a different team, because a number 6 works different in different systems, doesn't it?
Yeah, and
Or number 8 or whatever,
yeah,
whatever.
in Liverpool's system, he seems to be playing more like the number like 8, number 10 type role, which I prefer him in because I think in that number 6 role, he's just prone to snapping someone, isn't he?
Yeah, he likes a little nibble, doesn't he, at the opposition, like, which I don't mind that, but I don't want him getting booked after which we all had a little bet on the last game when Thiago was going to get booked. He never even got booked in the end, did he? We were all like, 6 minutes, 7 minutes, because he likes to put a stamp on the game early, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's. I think he plays better usually when he gets a card, but moving on to that Leipzig game, you could see that Thiago. The pace of football in the Bundesliga is obviously a lot slower than the Premier League, and Thiago absolutely ran the show on Tuesday, didn't he?
That game completely suited him. I say it was close to the performance he had against Chelsea when he come on at half time.
Yeah,
because we dictated the pace of the game so much, and he's instrumental in dictating the pace of a game the way he plays. So if it's played if we've got the ball and we're playing at our pace, he dictates that, and he just looks amazing.
He's in the midfield. His stats aren't that bad, His ball retention is 92%. He winks up 70% of the play. He carries and dribbles the ball 83% of the time. It's defending that are actually the worst stats.
Yeah.
So I don't know why people are still expecting him to be that number 6.
No, he's like, and let's have it right, he's about 5'7" or something, isn't he? He's not a big dominating, like Patrick Vieira type player, is he? Where people would expect that sort of thing of him. So I don't know why people expect it of him. That's not him.
Well, in Bayern Munich, he only won 64% of his aerial duels, and this is what will surprise you: his height. At Liverpool, he's won 90% of his aerial duels.
Wow.
That's crazy, isn't it? And 94% of his impact has been from defending.
Is that down to the fact that any high ball, he just steps out the way and lets Henderson run through and win it over?
I don't know. Like, he has improved his defending post coming back off the injury. Like, he's won. He's disrupted the opposition attacks. So people are slagging him off. Thiago's disrupted opposition attacks 99% of the time in the pool.
Yeah.
And that's an accurate number. So 99%. He's just disrupted people attacking him, which is his numbers are unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. He has had 11.8. He averages 11.8 tackles per game, winning 41%. And the only person who wins more tackles than him is Curtis Jones in the midfield.
Again, little shout out for Curtis Jones. I thought he was outstanding against Leipzig. I mean, the whole team I thought were fantastic, but the maturity Curtis Jones showed, I thought, was just unbelievable.
I think it was one of the best performances we've seen from Curtis Jones in a red shirt against Leipzig.
Yeah,
he was just unbelievable.
We've seen him step up before in the past, but not in a game of that like magnitude. Like he against Everton in the cup a couple of years back, he dominated and scored the winner. But that was the kids. That was the kids. That doesn't really. Although he's still done it, it doesn't really count the same way. Last night was like the big stage, and he just stepped up and he just looked so comfortable.
Well, in that game we only had 3 shots on target, which is mad. Like we had 10 shots,
surprising that
3 on target, 6 off target and 1 blocked. We only had like 2 corners, but for me that was the best Liverpool team performance of the season.
Yeah. It's the best one I can remember. I think if we go through all the games from the very start of the season, we might pick out 1 or 2 that are close.
Well, the only other one that stands out for me is Leicester at the start of the season at home. But just for the whole game, it felt as though the intensity, everything was just right. It just looked as though Liverpool were back again. What
made me the most happy, which is what I think we've been lacking a little bit in the past few weeks, is that pressing from the front. It's been there a bit, but I thought against Leipzig it was back to how we've done it for the past 3 years, where it's like one will go and then the rest will follow.
Let's not forget we were going up against a team who are arguably, at the minute, the most informed team in the Bundesliga. The second, Bayern Munich, are having a season. Bayern Munich are top, but they're having a season similar to Liverpool, where they just can't get a run of wins under the belt. They've lost to some mad teams this season, Bayern Munich. And obviously they thought the answer to their defensive problems is Upamecano.
Yeah, actually, as did we. You know what I mean? We were hailing him, and come on, he's had one bad game.
But on the world stage,
He had a stinker. Like I seen someone put, I haven't seen a defender make that many passes to a Liverpool player since Virgil van Dijk got injured. So he had an absolute nightmare. I think he's better than that.
I don't know. I haven't seen much of him. I just went off the fact that when I said, it'd be boss to have him, everyone was saying how good he was. And that's the first time I've probably watched him for like 90 minutes. And he was just awful. Like, I've never...
Like, if you've got his performance up against Kabak, like
at 20 years old.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, that says a lot, doesn't it? And he's doing himself no harm in getting the permanent deal, I think.
No, I think... Well, I got told it was an obligation to buy, where people being told not it's an option. But I'd have it as an obligation.
Yeah.
He's it'll be interesting to see how he fits in if Gomez makes a full recovery and can play at this level again.
I mean, he's young, he's hungry, and he's clearly a talented footballer, so...
Well, we've been monitoring him since last summer.
Yeah.
There's got to be a reason that our scouts and department and Klopp has wanted him since last summer.
It looks like he's fitting well with the squad as well. You see all the... I mean, you only see little clips, don't you, videos and pictures of training and all that, but he seems to already be like one of the boys.
Well, he nutmeg Trent.
I don't think Trent's his mate, but the rest of them probably quite like him.
But yeah, in the Leipzig game, he started out... I expected them to start, but loads of people were saying like, they're going to start Poulsen up front and stuff. But Leipzig this season, they're like a typical old Spanish team where they play with just midfielders.
Yeah.
But that Danny Olmo, that game didn't show how good that boy is. He's a central midfielder, and he's world class. He's someone who I think Liverpool should be looking at from that team. I wouldn't be looking at anyone else. I mean, we've been linked heavily to that Canate. But he's that injury prone. He wasn't even on the bench in that game because he's injury prone. So it's like buying another matchup. But that team it plays the Red Bull way, which is what Klopp admires.
Yeah.
And I think I was on transfer room before the game, and I said Jurgen Klopp's got the beating of any German team. Would you say that as well?
Yeah. Like, if you look at we haven't played that many German teams since he's been, but we've not had a problem against any of them.
No, well, because I was saying Liverpool are going to win the Champions League this year. It's facts. We're going to win it. Number 7's coming out.
I've seen that video you and everyone else was losing their mind when you were talking about it.
But honestly, like, I'm not bothered about the league. Obviously, I'm bothered that City are going to win the league, but I'm not bothered in a sense of, like, if we don't win the league this year and win the Champions League, and then next year we don't win the Champions League, but we win the league, I'm not bothered.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
Major trophy every year, doesn't matter which one.
Yeah, and with when I was on about the German teams, it's like, remember when we played Bayern Munich, everyone was saying, but they're finished. We absolutely battered Bayern Munich at their ground, battered them, like tore them a new one.
I think that was the first time that we really got a sense of how good the Fabinho was in defence.
Yeah.
Because we played with, was it Fabinho and Matip? With the two defenders at Anfield for that first leg, and we got a clean sheet, and everyone was like, "Oh, actually."
Yeah, and then obviously I was in Barca when we played them away, and we just absolutely destroyed them. Like
they didn't know what hit them.
Well, Manny didn't he back heel or chip it? He chipped it. He turned Neuer, didn't he?
Yeah, well, that was the one where Van Dijk played that ball just straight through the middle. He took it down, turned the keeper the wrong way, and just dinked it with his left, and everyone was like, "Huh."
And then people were saying Bayern Munich have finished, and then they absolutely battered the Barcelona the following year, didn't they? 8-2 in aggregate.
Yeah.
They absolutely give Spurs a new one. At the present moment, the champions of Europe and champions of the world, and people were saying they were finished, and all that's happened in their team since then is they've lost Coutinho and Thiago.
Yeah.
so they haven't. I mean, they're bringing enough on card, but they haven't. I don't think they brought anyone massive in.
They haven't had any like, marquee signings.
Sané's, that's it. That's the only one he brought in since we battered them. And they're the only team in the Champions League where I'd say is dangerous, and I think Jurgen's got the better of them.
Yeah,
he got Dortmund 2 back-to-back leagues, and Bayern Munich always win the league in Germany. So I think any team in the Champions League will batter. People think PSG. I'm not scared about them.
I'm not scared of PSG.
because I mean, obviously they battered Barcelona, but
Barcelona aren't the Barcelona everyone thinks they are anymore.
we battered Barcelona with Divock Origi and Shaqiri starting. Salah was out and Firmino was out that game, so I mean, Mbappe ran the show, but I'm not worried about PSG. It looks as though Juventus could go out. Porto beat them 2-1.
That was a shock.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think they've ever been beaten by Porto, have they?
No. I mean, the Europa League games were more of a shock for me. There was some mad results in that.
Yeah. The Rangers game?
Yeah.
That was insane.
4 away goals, though.
Yeah.
He's made for Europe, CBG, and I reckon he'll do well this year in Europe. I'd love Gerrard to get United in the next round and knock them out. Imagine it.
That'd be unbelievable.
Yeah, back to Liverpool.
Actually, I just want to touch, before we get away from it, on we were talking about Thiago and Bayern Munich. Did you see the Bayern Munich president come out? Is it Karl-Heinz Rummenigge or whatever his name is? He said he's trying to talk Thiago back to Bayern Munich already. He's already saying, like, in the press, oh, it's not working out for him at Liverpool with welcoming back and all that.
You can leg it.
Yeah, how's it not working for him? Because Liverpool aren't playing that well. Or haven't been playing that well in the past few weeks.
All I keep thinking about Thiago is when we are fit again, he's going to be world class. Because you've cast your mind back to the Everton game at the start of the season when he had Hendo next to him and Van Dijk was in defence. He was unbelievable. That pass was for the goal. It wasn't an offside. It was definitely a goal. I think he'll
thrive in a midfield with a proper defensive midfielder behind him.
Yeah, and I think he's been playing a lot better in recent weeks anyway because he's had
Wijnaldum there, hasn't he?
Yeah, and I think playing Jones there is a stroke of masterclass from Jurgen because it's like Thiago's the most senior one, so we can then turn around to Jones and go, you stay back, I'm going forward. Where when there's other players there who've ultimately won it all at Liverpool, he's a bit like, well, what do I do? And he's thrived. Him and Jones have half made a belt little partnership. And touching on Jones, obviously, you touched on before in the Leipzig game, the only criticism I've got of Curtis Jones is I'd like to see him express himself more. So you can see that he's young, and rather than just like powering forward and looking for that shot or that killer pass, he'd rather play it safe. Now, it's good to boost his numbers because his numbers are ridiculous. His passing numbers are some of the best I've seen. But then, he can curl it on his right foot.
Yeah. I think that the issue he's got is he's got a lot of senior players around him who are older, more experienced, more goals, and he might. Although he looks like he's got that little bit of cockiness in him, I reckon he's still got that sort of inner anxiety around if he takes this shot and it misses. He's got Salah, he's got Mane, and he's got Firmino, and then he's got like Henderson all like down his ear. I think he needs to like jib them, just take the shot, like, and it builds the confidence.
He's definitely. We've been saying on this since the very first episode about how good Curtis Jones would be. Generational, I've called him. And you know what, right? I am so happy to see him being a baller because the amount of people who said to me when I said, like, how do you know he's going to be that good? And I was like, trust me, he's going to be world class.
You could just see it, couldn't you, from the minute he came through? Like.
And it says a lot that he's starting Champions League last 16 games.
Yeah, ahead of some of them players that are on that bench.
Diox. I know Kaiser's unfit, but I still think when Kaiser comes back, Curtis Jones starts.
That he's got a good fight on his hands for a place like.
Think of the City game. We were in it. Jones came off.
Yeah.
Crumbled. Leicester in it. Yeah. Jones came off. Crumbled. Jones played 90 minutes against Leipzig and we were dominant for 90 minutes. Like I'm not saying he's the main source of the win, but I think he's a big part of it.
He's pivotal, isn't he, at the minute? I say Keita has got one hell of a job on his hands trying to get back in that team.
Yeah. I'd still put him back in.
Nothing against Keita, because I think when he's fit, he's just outstanding. But because he's that injury prone, he's got to fight even harder to get back in the team.
But apparently that's why he's been fit for a few weeks. But we've been like he's been doing work with, I can't think of the fella's name now. We brought a coach in, which is ultimately going to help Keita and help the likes of Matip and them players who can't string around the games together. Okay. So I think once he comes back in, maybe you might
get that run of games.
Yeah. I mean, the Leipzig game would have been perfect to play Keita, and I think just for him to get that bit of confidence because he ran the show when he was there. So, like you've seen Thiago's change, how much difference he was playing in against the Bundesliga team. I think Kaiser needs a game like that for his
You
confidence.
see, if you look at our squad, when we've got everyone fit, we've got an abundance of quality players there.
I think
that last game, it was at the Leicester game, didn't we have, was it 6 or 7 first team players out? And then did Milner get injured against Leicester?
Yeah, within the fourth.
So I think it was 6, and then Milner was like the 7th first. We say first team, who would make the bench maybe. And people are still saying, we haven't got our injury crisis anymore because I don't know what they're smoking like. But
we're in a stronger position, definitely. Looking ahead, it looks as though the derby's going to be potentially the last game Jota's out for. So we could be back for Sheffield United. And then
that makes me so happy. Like, so happy.
And then we've got Kaiser coming back. And then I think it's only Van Dijk and Gomez. Milner's on his way back. Matip's out for the season. Gomez out for the season. People are saying Van Dijk's out for the season. He's not.
Have you seen him doing his little hop, skip and jump on that ladder on the floor thing? I was like, oh, yes, you're going for it.
People think Matip isn't in the squads anymore because he's out for the season. I don't think Gomez is either.
Verge is, though.
Van Dijk is, yeah. So why on earth do people think he's not going to play this season? Why would Klopp put him in the...
Van Dijk decides whether he goes on that team sheet or not. Not Jürgen, not the owners.
That's why I strongly believe we'll win the Champions League. Because if Van Dijk comes back... So the next leg of games Leipzig, the second week of March, I think. Or the first week of March. So then, if we get through, which... They've got to come to Anfield and win us 3-0. Touch wood, it doesn't happen because at the minute we're awful at Anfield, but we're touching on a sec going into the derby. But if he comes back in for the quarter-final stage, semi-final stage,
business
the
end of the
Champions League,
season's where you want him coming in, isn't it?
Yeah, and then we need to start winning the run of games, which I think we will, which I'll touch on in a sec. But in terms of Champions League, if he's coming back in for, say, the second leg of that quarter-final, that's prime to have Virgil van Dijk back in because then that's allowing you... And for the rest of the season to build that relationship up with Kabak, it's Fabinho. But then I'd rather play Kabak and have Fabinho as the holding, Hendo back in midfield, and Everton's gravy.
Yeah, like that's what I mean. Like the squad of players we've got when they're all fit, it's like you got that problem of who do you leave out? You're not scratching around for a centre half then, or another midfielder because you put your midfielder as centre half.
I think Fabinho goes into CDM, Hendo goes into midfield with Thiago. I think. As good as Genie is, if he's not signing the deal, I think we do need to drop him because then it's allowing that midfield to build a relationship up.
I think all this uncertainty, I think he's only playing as much as he is through necessity.
Do you think he's staying?
No.
I don't know, because there's that video. I mean, I know he's not going to turn around to the Blue Nose and say, I'm going. But there's that video where the Blue Noses are right next to him in the car and they go into him, you're going to go to Barca, lad, you're better than the Reds and all that. And he goes, they want me, but I don't want them. I want to stay here. And it's come out a few times where he wants to stay here because his kids are in school, he's settled.
But you'd think if he was that adamant that he wants to stay, the deal would be done. He'd say to his agent, do you know what? Swerve the last year, whatever. Whatever it takes, I want to stay.
But he's on 85 grand now and he wants 150 for 5 years, which I can understand Liverpool not wanting to give him because he'd be
Does he though, or is that his agent pushing for it? He could say to his agent, look, whatever they want.
I don't know. Agents are a mad one. That's why I feel as though I want Haaland, but then I really don't think Liverpool are going to go into business with Mina Raiola.
I know, that's the problem, isn't it?
And I mean, I don't know who Genie's agent is.
I'm sure the beast like Jürgen might have a little minion somewhere in Germany. Just go and have a word with Haaland and go, listen, we want you, but swerve him. Get another agent.
I think it's Mbappe. There's that thing's come out this week about John Henry's flew around with him for 2 hours, hasn't he, around France?
Oh yeah, that was a couple of years ago.
On the private jet, and
impressed his family, and his family are happy with Liverpool, and they're happy to pay the 200 million euros or whatever it is that they're asking for.
They'll make that back on shirt sales in a year.
No doubt. That's like great business model. He's young, he's valuable.
I've seen someone say, I think when it's been Carragher, saying he will play for Real Madrid one day, but Liverpool's ultimately like the perfect stepping stone. Now, I know Liverpool aren't a stepping stone club and we don't want to be associated as that.
But for players who aspire to Real Madrid, maybe we are a stepping stone, whether we like to hear that or not.
I know he's been unbelievable at PSG, but it's a Farmers League. If he can come to the Prem and do the numbers he's getting there in the Prem, he will go to Real Madrid. And at this present moment in time, Real Madrid can't afford him.
No.
Real Madrid and Barcelona, because of the Spanish TV losing the money, they're skint.
Yeah.
And Barcelona are on the verge of probably going into administration at the minute. They're nearly like £1 billion in debt. They still owe us money for Coutinho. That's why he hasn't been playing.
Yeah, they don't want to activate that next clause in the
Yeah,
contract.
so the best thing for Barcelona to do is to get rid of Messi. But then PSG have apparently said to Mbappe, if you stay, we'll bring Messi. But I don't think Messi's going to go to PSG.
No. How could PSG, like, legitimately fund Messi, Mbappe, Di Maria, what's the other guy's name?
The Verratti, Neymar.
No, yeah, Neymar, that's the guy I'm looking for. How can that be in a league like that, all above board, funding that with financial fair play? I don't care how many shirts you can sell.
I don't think he'll go there. When we had a City fan on before the City game, Paul, and he was speaking about how he thinks Messi's been done for a few years. Because let's not forget, City have got Tiki Bergestein, and as like the overseeing it all, they've got Pep there, they've got all Spanish coaches. They basically got the Barcelona from when Pep.
Got the model there.
Yeah, from when Pep was at Barca, he's basically just took everyone. So for Messi, I think Messi wants the best. Messi's been at his best under Pep.
Yeah.
In his career.
And he hasn't got many years left in him, has he?
No, and I think
at that level, he's not got many.
That's why I think he'll go to City, because they'll sign him on like something stupid, like a 7-year contract, and he'll go to City for 2 years, 3 years. Then they'll move him to New York.
Yeah.
Because City
They've got
the City football group.
Yeah.
And then they'll make loads in shirt sales. Absolutely loads. But the only thing that, mind you, it doesn't stop it, because he's Adidas, isn't he, Messi?
Yeah.
I think you might maybe see City go to Adidas.
All in the name of Messi.
Maybe, yeah.
It would make business sense, I guess.
Anyone buying Messi, I know it's a massive layoff at the start, but you're going to make it back. You're getting arguably the greatest footballer of all time.
I mean, there's always an ounce of risk involved in stuff like that, because he could turn up and break his leg on day one in training. And you've paid the money for him, and then what are you going to do?
I'd rather, I'm not comes to Prem, Liverpool get Mbappe and City get Haaland. If we can only have one.
Do you know what? To see Haaland at any other team in the Prem, it just break my heart.
I think he'll come to Prem.
Immense.
He's another one who will go to Spain, but they can't afford him at the minute. So I do think he'll come to Prem. And wouldn't you like to see Mbappe and Haaland in the same...
In a red shirt. I want to see them both at Anfield.
No, I don't... I think if we bring one of them in, we keep the coexisting front three as well, and they get rotated in a sense of like maybe Bobby drops back, but I think it gives us more options. Like if you brought Mbappe in, it makes more sense, because Salah could then go down the middle with Mbappe on the right, and then Jota and Mane are alternating, or Jota can go in the middle. They can all play everywhere, and then Bobby will probably drop deeper.
I would like to see them all. I just still think, I just still got that thing in my mind that for us to bring in that world class, that Mbappe, that Haaland, I just think one of the others will go.
Do you not think that's why FSG have been skint though in January?
Maybe. I hope you're right. I do hope you're right, but I don't know. It's just that little pessimist in me of like...
They're not scared.
I've had my heart broken too many times by the likes of, Torres and Suarez and that, and it hasn't happened for a while. We haven't had that superstar leave us, and I feel it coming. And I'm preparing for it, so I'm not too heartbroken when it happens. Like,
but with FSG, aren't scared to spend money, I'll have a look now. The biggest,
but we've always had players going out. Not your big stars, but we've never, like, you say we're spending big. We are, and we have, but it's always been funded by other players going.
Red Sox have got a player on a £24 million a year contract over 4 or 5 years, and they give them it all up front. FSG aren't scared to spend big money, Let's not forget, if we have a shocker seed, which we are going to in the league this year, we're going to finish, I don't know, I still think we'll finish second. I'll tell you why in a minute when we move on to Derby. But FSG, when we needed a goalkeeper, went and spent 70 million on one. when we needed a centre half. They went and spent 75 million on one.
Yeah.
If Jurgen Klopp goes and knocks on their office and says, we need Mbappe, they'll pay it. And I want them to, because it'll shut up all the FSG outers, because I like them, I'd keep them. I
mean, look at, like, I don't see anyone in the right mind can ever go at FSG. Look where we are, and look where we were. Give your heads a wobble, and just have a look where we are.
Just look at the ground.
I know.
Just look what he's done to the ground.
Yeah, we're having a bit of a dodgy season, but City apart, everyone's having a dodgy season.
Well, this is why I think we're going to finish second. Looking at the league, for like this, all the teams around us need to play each other in the next few weeks.
Yeah. So there'll be points getting dropped here and there, won't there?
Yeah, so we could end up second in a few weeks because they've all got to play each other. So,
so are we 6 points behind Leicester and United?
Yeah,
Hang on, we're down in 6 now, aren't we?
We're 6 points behind Leicester and United, yeah, but we're only 2 points off fourth.
Yeah.
Chelsea are playing Southampton today.
Chelsea are above us. Southampton are around us, aren't they?
Southampton are quite far down, you know. Southampton are 13th,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
But Takumi Minamino's going to score a hat-trick today.
Is that your new one? Is it Curtis Jones with a screamer and Minamino with a hat-trick?
But tomorrow, for example, West Ham's got to play Spurs.
Yeah.
They're both around us. Villa have got to play Leicester.
Yeah.
They're both around us. And Villa's at home, so it's hard for Leicester. Mm-hmm. Arsenal have got to play City. So, like, Arsenal's hit and miss this season, yeah, but they could still take points.
They're a challenge, aren't they, for City?
Yeah, and then obviously United playing Newcastle. That's an easy game. But then you look at like like all them fixtures, and you go to the Monday football. Monday. That's Brighton Palace. But then next weekend,
we've got Sheffield United next weekend, haven't we?
Yeah. So next Saturday, we've got Sheffield United, but then City have got to play West Ham, and then Leeds are playing Villa. On the Sunday, you've got Leicester playing Arsenal. You've got Spurs playing Burnley. You've got Chelsea playing United.
Yeah. So there's points getting dropped, isn't there? All around.
100%.
We've just got to. I still think probably we'll probably finish fourth, maybe third.
We're definitely at top four though.
I mean, I'm basing all this on the assumption that we're going to carry on the way we were playing from the other day. I think if we can get another performance like that and another result like that against Everton, I think we'll kick on. We haven't had although we've been playing okay and not winning, we haven't had two back-to-back absolute lessons for the other team. And I think if we get two of them, that'll bring that momentum back.
Well, West Ham are the ones who are closest at the minute to us, and their next run of games, they've got Tottenham tomorrow, then they've got City, then they've got Leeds, then they've got United, then they've got Arsenal, then they've got Wolves, then they've got Leicester.
Yeah, that's
West Ham falling off.
Well, you would expect West Ham to fall off, but it's one of them mad seasons, isn't it? Like, I can't expect West Ham getting much from that game.
No.
Them games. But you just never know.
Like on Pep's press conference yesterday, I seen it on Sky Sports, he was saying that when they went into our game, they could have, if they would have lost, they would have been 2 points clear of us. Mm-hmm. Now, if they win before we play today, they're 16 points clear of us.
That's madness.
This league is just mad this year. But moving on to the derby, I think this is the most important game of the season. I said it about the Leicester game, but I've been thinking more about it. Not in the terms of bragging rights. That's out the window for me. I don't care. I'm not bothered about texting them all moaning and kicking off and laughing at them. But if we win Everton, I think Liverpool can then kickstart, because it's 2 back-to-back wins, another win at Anfield, which we haven't had for a few weeks.
We haven't had a good run, have we?
We haven't had a good win at Anfield since, I can't even think. Honestly, I don't know the last time Liverpool won at Anfield. The last time we won at Anfield, Steve, was...
Because we lost the last 3, didn't we?
The last time Liverpool won at Anfield was the 16th of December. Against Tottenham.
Wow. That's 2 months. That's unspeakable. Like,
So I think...
when was the last hammering we dished out at Anfield?
Was
it even this season?
4-0 Wolves, 6th December. So yeah, we've been shit at Anfield.
We need to turn that around. It's about time now, isn't it?
I think we beat Everton. We've got Sheffield United after that.
Mm-hmm.
That's tougher than people think.
It's away to Sheffield United, though. Away. Yeah. Actually, I'm more happy that we're away to Sheffield United than at home.
We're better away, aren't we?
Yeah.
But then we've got Chelsea at home. So I think it's vital that we beat Everton. Yeah. I don't want no 0-0s. I don't want horrible draws. We have to win.
Do you want Thiago absolutely nailing Richarlison?
I think someone will be nailed in this game. The referee's hasn't given a red card out ever against Liverpool Everton, or Everton games, and Liverpool have never lost a game. He's been the referee off. One of them's changing this weekend. Yeah, and Klopp's come out and said, Annie, if we would have played Everton a week later, it wouldn't have been pretty. Let's say that.
Yeah. So there's a lot of bad feelings in the squad around this game, isn't there?
I think a lot of the squad blame Everton for the season in the sense that we lost Van Dijk because of them.
Yeah, and Thiago.
Yeah, Ozan Kabak's a bit of a nightmare. You know, he's like Suarez.
Is he?
Yeah. I wouldn't mind him getting sent off like the 89th minute with a little elbow to Pickford's head or something. But yeah, we'll look at the fixtures anyway. We've got a decent run of games, apart from that Chelsea game, which, again, I think that's
I've got no issues with Chelsea. I think we'll beat them.
I think Klopp's with the better of Tuchel, yeah. I think because Tuchel's learned from Klopp, he knows him.
And Chelsea will come out and play with us. They'll come out and give us a game, and when teams do that, we pick them off.
And they're starting Kepa again, so...
Well, yeah, it says it all, doesn't it?
But I think this Everton game is a 6 points one, like the Chelsea one, because if we win Everton's game in hand, they can't go above us.
That's massive, you know. Like,
yeah, but then
shuts them off.
But shut up.
But you know what's going on us.
But then, if Everton beat us today, they go above us. Well, they go level with us because we got more goals. They'd have to hammer us. Let me see what they'd need to...
I don't even want to go down that route of thinking.
Everton would need to beat us 11-0 to go above us today.
Are they 22 goals behind us?
In fact...
Is the goal difference?
Sorry, no, they'd have to win us 12-0. The goal difference, we've got 13, they've got 2.
So they only need to have half of that.
Down, so they need to win
6-0
6-7-0. They need to beat us to go above us.
So let's all have a little laugh at that.
Yeah, that won't happen. But this is a 6-point game because obviously if they win the game in hand, they still can't go above us. Then I think I know we won 2 back-to-back games away, but I think if we beating Leipzig is giving us confidence. If we then go and get another win at home, and I mean like a 3-0 today, a 4-0, something big, then that gives us then confidence going to Sheffield United. Sheffield United is getting like Palace, where you can just bang them in my eyes. That Ramsdale is terrible. You then go into the Chelsea game with 3 back-to-back wins. You probably beat them. And then you've got Fulham, Leipzig, Wolves, Arsenal, Villa at home. They need a spanking. And then you've got Leeds, Newcastle, United.
Yeah,
we've played, mate. Out of the big 6, we've only got... Chelsea and United to play for the rest of the season. I mean, United's away, but unless you want to throw Arsenal as one of the big 6 and Wolves,
I don't think you can put Arsenal in that top 6 anymore.
No, so we've only got Chelsea and United to play for the season. That's it. All the other teams are like Fulham, Villa, Leeds, Newcastle, Southampton, and to be honest with you, I think Southampton will miss Minamino against us. So,
do you know what I was thinking then? Right, what would you prefer? Would you prefer a 4-5-0 spanking of Everton or a 96-minute heartbreaker, like an Origi 96-minute goal just to finish them?
A 4-5-0 spanking so Origi doesn't have to get on the pitch.
All right, maybe not Origi, Bobby.
I'd rather batter them. I think as much as I love the 96-minute heartbreakers, we need some confidence. And I just think a few goals will help that. And I genuinely think we're going to batter them.
Yeah.
They're coming off the back of 2 back-to-back defeats, one of which they lost to Fulham.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, What was the last game they played the other day? The one I was...
City.
Yeah, you can't really judge them on a City game, but
They
I've
were
seen
poor.
I've seen a few bits of Everton, and they have got a game of footy in them, but they got a few alright players, but they haven't got any game changers, any world beaters. They've just got a team of alright players.
The only thing that they've got Alan back for this game.
Yeah, again, I think he's like a he's not really a game changer though, is he? He's just a solid player. Like he's a Lucas Leiva, isn't he?
Yeah. I mean, if you ask Everton fans, they'll probably say he's better than Fabinho. I seen one of their clown fan channels saying they were arguing with the Liverpool fans, saying that it was facts that Luca Dean was better than Andy Robertson. So I sat there and thought, is he?
Yeah.
Looked at the stats on the Premier League. So the official Premier League stats.
Yeah.
In the same amount of time, Luca Dean doesn't beat Robertson on one stat.
That doesn't surprise me. Like
He's
the fact that he's a good left back, right? He is.
He's not Andy Robertson.
He's not Andy Robertson. No one is.
They're just absolute clowns. I mean, Calvert-Lewin's a worry, but then
He can be a handful, yeah.
Yeah, Kabak won 75% of his aerial duels in the Bundesliga this season, and the Bundesliga's full of massive strikers like Lewandowski and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think I'm not bothered about him. Kabak can jump high. He's got a good air duel in him. Mm-hmm. I think Henderson will bully Calvert-Lewin.
Richarlison, I think someone's got to wind him up. We've got to have someone. I reckon I can see us. Is Milner injured?
Yeah.
Is he? I was going to say, I can see it like Jürgen pulling out the madness of like playing Milner just to wind up Richarlison.
I'm not going to sit here and say too much because I know it'll go against me, but I can't remember a game where Richarlison's been good in the derby.
No, I think, his head gets lost a bit in games like that, doesn't it?
The only thing that Everton have got going for them, Liverpool being poor at Anfield, and there's no fans.
Yeah.
That's the worry.
My worry is if they try to do what a lot of other teams have done and sit back against us. I can't see.
I don't know if
I can't see Ancelotti doing it. But would he bend his philosophy to get the win? Would he look at the way other teams have got a result and think we could probably do that, or will he think, nah, we'll go out and play and try and beat them?
I don't know. In my head, it's a bit like City hadn't won us at Anfield for 20 odd years, had they?
No.
I think Everton's in the same position. They haven't won us at Anfield.
Yeah,
I don't think
beat
they
them
have
in your lifetime.
I don't think in my lifetime they beat us at Anfield. So they're going into this game with the idea of Liverpool are in bad form and they've been bad at home. Burnley beat them at home.
Do you think they'll see like a wounded animal and think
try and go for it? And I think that's the worst thing they can do.
Absolutely, yeah. If they come out at us, they've got no chance.
I don't know, because if they sit back, I think we beat them as well, because they haven't got the... Everton aren't as strong defensively. It's mad to say it, as someone like West Brom, who are set up week in, week out to play that way. Everton play nice football. They've been a good team this year. I said they'd be one to watch. They've been one to watch. To be honest with you, they're a nice team to watch play football. It hurts me to say it, and it kills me knowing that Everton are actually a decent side now. They've got a decent manager, decent players. But I mean, I've seen rumours that James Rodriguez doesn't like England. So I'll drive him to the airport. I don't like him there. He's world class. He's
quality, isn't he?
He reminds me a bit of Coutinho, you know.
Yeah, he's that luxury flair player in the team, isn't he?
Yeah.
Where, like...
And he's found form again. And I think that's why he might have half used Everton for. Comes to Prem, find some form, put himself in the shot market, and go to someone like, I don't know, like your PSGs, or even like Real Sociedad and play with David Silva. It's just someone. I mean, there's plenty of teams better than Everton who would want James Rodriguez.
I think that's probably how he's been enticed into Everton. Is, listen, you've got a world class manager here. You can use it as a stepping stone, or you can make it a success there, and you make a name for yourself, and you stay and you're successful, or you use that to get you moved to, wherever, Juventus or whatever.
Yeah.
So he's just like a win-win for him.
I think the Everton team we've got, although Calvert-Lewin's fit, I think they're going to massively miss Yerry Mina. he's been ruled out for it.
Has he? He's quite a threat from set pieces, isn't he? He gets a few goals from corners and stuff. So.
And he's good at defending them in corners. So I don't think that Godfrey is the tallest, if I'm not.
I have no idea, to be honest.
I think we'll get a goal from a corner today.
That's been coming for a while, hasn't it? We've been missing
Yeah.
that. And me and you were talking about it the other day. I think Everton are a decent goalkeeper away from regular top four finishes.
Yeah.
Jordan Pickford he's a clown, and I actually think that he won't play today. I think he'll put that other keeper in.
He's played well, that other keeper, when he's coming as well.
He's been flitting between, hasn't he, Ancelotti, between the two keepers. Is it Olsen, the other guy? I think he'll play Olsen today.
It's a derby, though, isn't it? It's
No.
a big... But I just don't think he'd throw someone like that into a derby. He reckons Pickford's fine, but I reckon Pickford's worried, thinking Liverpool are going to get me today.
Yeah.
But
The thing is, if he does play Pickford, I think Pickford will have one of the worst games of his career.
wishful thinking.
Honestly, I think, like... Oh, he's come out and said, he didn't mean to Van Dijk or whatever, but...
He did.
Either way, whether he did or he didn't, he's had so much stick off fans for it for, is it 3, 4, 5, however many months it's been. It's got, like, they can say they switch off to it, but it's got to be playing on his mind.
Yeah, definitely. But in my eyes, he meant it. Anyone who goes into a tackle 2 feet off the ground, you're trying to hurt the player. But I don't know. I think he leaves Everton this year if Ancelotti stays, and I think he won't play the Euros.
He doesn't deserve to play the Euros. Nick Pope all day.
Or Dean Henderson.
Yeah.
He's got 2 better keepers than him. He is the most protected keeper in the league by the media. He is absolutely shambolic.
Yeah.
I don't understand how people... Do you know when in the Everton ground, when he makes a good save, it flashes up on the big telly, England's #1?
Wow.
They live off it.
Wow.
But he's terrible. He's so cocky and arrogant and...
He just hasn't got the skill set to back it up, though.
No.
I've watched a bit of Everton, and right, it seems a bit harsh for me to say this about him because of the way Alisson's been lately, but his distribution is appalling. Shot stopping, he's okay. Commanding his area, awful. Like, he reminds me a bit of Karius. Like, that may be a bit harsh on Karius, right? But that's what I see in him. I see Karius.
Yeah, he is
And how on
terrible.
earth he's our #1 in this country is just beyond me.
I can't think what derby it was now. I was in the Annie Road end, and I'd say 85-90% of his ball distributions went out.
Yeah, he just kicks them straight out of play.
Yeah, he's terrible. He's real bad, and Everton genuinely are a goalkeeper away from challenging. I think if they get rid of Sigurdsson, get rid of Pickford...
Do you not like Sigurdsson?
No, I think he's crap.
He's a bit slow, but he's technically, I've noticed he's quite a good player.
All the Everton fans hate him as well.
Yeah.
But I think if they get rid of Sigurdsson and they get rid of Pickford, they stop starting Tom Davis, they'll do well.
Yeah. Who do you think would be a good replacement for them in goal then? Adrian?
Dean Henderson. Or Nick Pope. They like English keepers.
Yeah.
Nick Pope. I honestly wouldn't rule that. Farhad's got money, you know. He's got loads of money. I mean, he put the private buildings below the idiot. But
yeah, I mean that'd be if they got Nick Pope, that would concern me.
I wouldn't concern me in terms of finishing over Liverpool, but I think they'd be in the top 4 again. I think the Europa League places,
because they are missing a top keeper. That's like clear for all to see.
Yeah, if they keep hold of the James Rodriguez and Allen, and Ancelotti's got that pull. We've seen it. He's brought Allen and James Rodriguez in. He's got the pull.
Yeah, actually, not a lot spoke about Decore, and he's doing quite well for them as
I
well.
would have had the call at Liverpool before he went there. World class.
So they've got a good, got that Michael Keane in defence. He's not too bad. Calvert-Lewin.
I think though, if fit,
Bernard is quite good. They've got a good.
I think if fit, they play Godfrey and Mina in the back though. I think they'd probably sell Bernard I think getting Josh King in's a good deal.
Yeah, I forgot about him, yeah.
Getting him in for an impact sub. He's quick. He's decent in the Prem.
Mm-hmm.
Calvert-Lewin's only going to get better.
You say, it gives Calvert-Lewin a kick up the backside as well, doesn't it? So
Yeah,
he never really had anyone in there to
challenge him.
To challenge him, did he?
They're a good team, and I knew at the start of the season that they'd cause problems. I just didn't think that they'd be able to win games and go above Liverpool. But every time that's been thrown on a plate for them, they've crumbled.
Yeah.
But looking to tonight then, who's their biggest threat? Because it's a mad one, because against City, they didn't start James Rodriguez.
I think...
Was that, you reckon, with the derby in mind?
Could have been. I think that, like, their biggest threat, if assuming he plays his best football, is probably Richarlison. If he turns up
against the big teams, though, he's awful, and like, against the smaller teams, he's decent. He's not a £50 million footballer by any stretch of the margin, and I don't think that he'll be there much longer. I think Ancelotti gets a bit frustrated with him.
Yeah.
Just the fact Calvert-Lewin's fit worries me. It worries me so much. Calvert-Lewin going up against a makeshift defence. One thing that I think is in our favour is Calvert-Lewin. Off the top of my head, I don't think he's got much pace, has he?
He's no slouch, but he's not known to be a pacey striker.
It's not like you're coming up against Vardy.
Yeah, you're not coming up against Vardy or Danny Ings or that type of off-the-shoulder striker. He's big. He's good in the air. He can finish, but he's not like lightning, is he?
I think Everton, you've said it, I think Everton could maybe get Danny Ings in the summer.
Think so?
That's someone who, if they get him, it'd help them a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, Calvert-Lewin's...
to be fair, we need someone like that.
We're getting Mbappe, we'll chill.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
No, but Calvert-Lewin's a threat. James Rodriguez is a massive threat. But then I feel as though...
I don't think he turns up against us.
No.
I think we nullify him.
I think Thiago nullifies him. And other than that, I'm not bothered. I think them having Mina out is good. I mean, Godfrey's been good at the back for them, but I think our front three, ultimately, they've got to perform because Jota's back nearly.
Yeah. I think even their left back, Luca Dean, I think Trent will have him in his pocket all game.
Yeah. Do you know who I think's going to have a massive game today?
Go on.
Jones.
Yeah.
Not just saying it.
He's in a good run of form. He's off the back of a really, really top performance, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's a local lad in a derby. Like, it's all lined up for him to have a
I know we played the
boss performance.
We only played the kids against him when he played last time. But they played the first team.
He was head and shoulders above everyone.
And they played the first team. They come out as to win, and we played our kids. And
that's one of the best, like, single strike. I'm not talking about team goals. That's one of the best goals I've seen in a derby. That was precision. Like, there's been very few, I'm
trying to think. Suarez had a few. Gerrard got that hat-trick.
Yeah. No, I'm just that one moment, that moment of brilliance. You don't see many of them like that in a derby.
I honestly do think that this is his stage tonight. And because, like you said, off the back of that performance against Leipzig, he is all anyone spoke about. Yeah. Kabak got man of the match because if you put Kabak in a poll on Twitter, Turkey takes over.
Yeah.
he is like the poster boy for Turkey. And they had Kabak and Salah in the other day for the man of the matches with Jones and Trent, I think. Yeah. And Kabak and Salah were head and head on this poll right till it expired. It was basically Turkey against Egypt.
Yeah.
That's what it was. It was like a poll. But Kabak is adored over in Turkey. Like when I was speaking to my mates over in Turkey, they were ecstatic that he had come to Liverpool. Yeah. Ecstatic. He is the new. So put it, Cenk Tosun was their man.
Yeah,
he's like one of the most decorated Turkish strikers.
Him the king or something.
Yeah, Tosun Pasha. Yeah. He is unbelievable for Turkey. Yeah. He is, but obviously he's flopped at Everton. They've seen one of their. I mean, don't get me wrong, they've got like Soyuncu, and then they've got what's his name? Liverpool. And there's one at Juventus who's Turkish as well at centre back. But in terms of after Istanbul, Liverpool become a massive name in Turkey. We're already a massive name, but a lot of Turkish people love Liverpool off the back of that final.
Yeah.
And then they've seen their new up and coming talents come to Liverpool. like, they are made
They're
up.
fully behind them, aren't they?
Yeah.
I was made up to see him put in a solid performance against Leipzig after what happened at Leicester. It didn't knock his confidence any.
No, he is. He's gonna be world class. He's only gonna get better when Van Dijk's back. But I just think, speaking of Jones, I think he's gonna dominate today, because I was thinking about it the other day, and I was thinking, like, against that Everton side when he dominated in the FA Cup.
Yeah.
They had a strong team out, and you're right, he was head and shoulders above everyone else. He was world class in that game. All anyone spoke about this week is Curtis Jones. If he went on Twitter,
And rightly so, by the way.
If he went on Twitter, he was trending for about 3 days. And so football players check it, I'm not bothered. They say they don't, they definitely do. Curtis Jones has shown this season why we didn't loan him out, and Curtis Jones, for me, has shown signs that I'm not comparing him to Gerrard.
It's so easy to do so, isn't it?
Yeah,
Because
but
the
he's
local
got
lad in that
Gerrard
position.
characteristics. Like, when I think back to when Gerrard burst onto the scene, he was just a breath of fresh air for Liverpool, and we knew by watching him, this fella's going to be well. I don't think anyone knew how good he would actually be. But Curtis Jones, just the minute he gets that confidence, you know he can bang a shot.
Yeah.
He's so skillful on the ball. He's got that flair about him.
Do you know what I particularly like about him as well? I've noticed in the past couple of games is his strength and his hold up. Like, he can have 2-3 players around him. He can't get near him.
He got the Messi treatment against Leipzig.
Yeah.
4 players were going after him when he had the ball.
And he couldn't get near him.
And he's not 20. He's a kid.
I know. Like,
people talk about Phil Foden, but I think Curtis Jones is better. Dare I say it?
yeah, he's not yet.
But Phil Foden's been in the City first team for 3 years.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think Curtis Jones will...
He will be better.
He will be better than Foden. I think at the minute Foden's ahead of him because of how many games he's played and he's got all that experience and whatever, but I think a few years down the line, people will be speaking about Curtis Jones more than Phil Foden.
Curtis Jones is generational. And I'm sat there every week now smiling, like, because I remember when one of the first podcasts we'd done, I was saying Curtis Jones, and people had commented like, no. People who watched it were saying to me like, what are you going on about? He's just a kid. Yeah. And I was like, trust me. And I'm sat here, I'm sat here now, just like, told you.
You can tell. Like, I remember, I'm going back years and years ago, when Sterling and remember Suso?
Yeah.
They were both coming through the reserves or whatever at the time, and I was speaking to a guy down south who were on holiday, and he's a Liverpool fan. I went, watch these two. You watch these two players. These are going to be the neck, because I used to go and watch all the reserves and everything, and I'd see the players coming through. And I just go to him, I went, Dave, you wait, you watch Sterling and you watch Suso, and they will be on the world stage. And he was like, never heard of him. I was like, you wait.
I used to think that about Harry Wilson, but he seems to have flopped. But I still think he's got to learn. And I think that this year, in going from the Prem to find, like, they don't want you in the Prem and going back to the Championship will help. But Curtis Jones is just... Jones and Trent are the next Gerrard and Carragher, like the two people who are just going to come into the first team and stay for a long time. I can't see... Out of the two of them, if you had said if one of them was going to go, I'd say it would probably be Trent out of the two of them in the future. Jones has got... I don't know, he's a talky lad. Do you know what I mean? He's not going anywhere. And
I know, yeah, but isn't Trent like West Derby or something?
I'm not saying Trent would go, but I think if Liverpool were to fall off the pace a bit, he probably would, because he's good enough to go and play for your Real Madrid, your Barcelona, your PSGs and stuff like that. But I don't think Trent would go, because Trent's ultimately got to make the decision of if he stays, he's probably going to be the most decorated Liverpool player of all time.
Yeah.
But on Jones, he's learning under Klopp now. When he was... I would always say your most important years in football are 16 to 19. Where that's where you define... Because when you're 16, that's when you're getting kept on. And that's where you're getting like your pro contracts and stuff. At that time, he was learning off Steven Gerrard, the best midfielder of my generation. Probably one of the best midfielders in world football ever. He was better than Zidane. He was better than Kaká. He was better than Xavi. He was better than Iniesta. And I mean that. I mean it. Like, Steven Gerrard is... the best players I've ever seen play football. And he's from Highton.
There's one name in there, only one of them names you said that I can't agree with. Like, I love Steven Gerrard. He's the best player, I think, to play for Liverpool in my lifetime, I think. But one of my favourite players ever is Zidane.
Zidane turned around and said every player I've just named has said the best player they've come up against is Steven Gerrard. Now, of all them, it's...
Yeah, but that's the best player they've come up against. They're not going to put themselves in that.
Xavi and Iniesta and that are saying Gerrard, they've come up against Zidane.
Yeah, no, I think, I would for all the
Zidane,
other names, I would
world class. All them names, world class. But not one of them could do everything. Everything. Gerrard could defend. Gerrard could attack. Gerrard could pick the game up by the scruff of the neck. Zidane played in the Galacticos. Steven Gerrard played with Igor Bishkan and Jimmy Traore.
Earlier in his career, Zidane did a lot of that.
Could Zidane have won the Champions League in 2005 like Gerrard did?
I think possibly. I rate Zidane that
he's world class, but he's not Gerrard.
I'm not getting down on Steven Gerrard. Absolute legend. I love the guy.
I've got that bias towards Steve because he grew up where I grew up. He's a Highton lad, and he put Highton firmly on that map. So I love him, but Jones learnt off him in his most pivotal days, and then when he's broke into the first team, he's learning off Klopp.
Yeah.
So for me, when that age is when you're getting them contracts, that's when it defines if you're a Premier League player
massively, Jordan.
Or if you're a Championship standard player. That's when the players start getting released. Like people we know.
When you start to mature as a man, you're growing and you're developing, and it's like when you're learning from someone like Steven Gerrard.
And Gerrard said he's the best talent he's ever worked with. And let's not forget, some of the people Gerrard's worked with, like Sterling coming through. Gerrard's worked with, I'm trying to think of other kids who he's had.
He's had Michael Owen.
Yeah. But I mean, in terms as he's got older and understood football more, there's been when you think of the older young Coutinho, Sterling, all these Gerrard's played with, worked with day in, day out, but he still talks about Curtis Jones. When Curtis Jones scored that goal in the derby, Steven Gerrard put a picture of him on his own Instagram and put, love it, kid. Gerrard loves him. Gerrard tried to get into Rangers this season on loan. Gerrard absolutely loves him. And for me, Jones is now learning off Klopp and his coaching team. When Klopp goes, it might be Linders. But in Jones's Liverpool career, Steven Gerrard will be the manager one day.
Assuming he stays.
Yeah. 100% will be the manager one day. And then he's learning off Steven Gerrard. Steven Gerrard is... let's not forget, Jones has already got the pressure off him from the Premier League, like Gerrard had for his whole career, because we've won it. So the likes of Jones and Trent are playing now without having to walk around the city going, "God, get us the league, lads, get us the league." We've had the league. If we have to wait 2-3 years for another one, the pressure's not going to be as bad as it has been for 30 years. Curtis Jones will...
You and Steven Gerrard should start the Curtis Jones fan club. Because...
I'm the firm fully leader of that. But I love it because so many people, a few months ago, we had about 2 or 3 bad performances and he got hounded on social media. And I
hate social media for that.
Yeah, and I was still sat on this podcast saying, he's going to be world class. I've never once doubted the kid, and he is. He's going to be world class.
So, Curtis, there's a seat here for you, lads. Whenever you're ready, whatever wears with us.
So before we go, give us a lineup.
So I think it's going to be pretty expected. I don't think there's going to be any surprises there. Alisson, Trent, Kabak, Henderson, Robertson. Then we'll have Wijnaldum, Thiago Jones, Salah, Mane, Firmino.
What score?
I don't know. I woke up this morning absolutely flying, buzzing for this game, and 5-1. That's the way I woke up this morning. It's happening.
I'm gonna go Alisson, Trent, Kabak, Davies, Robbo. Yeah. Davies is tall. Calvert-Lewin's tall. It's the game.
It's a risk, but
it's a risk. Henderson, Jones, Thiago.
Okay.
Mane, Salah, Firmino. And I think we're going to win 4-1.
Okay. Yeah.
But I think Davies, he's got to... If he doesn't start today, he's going to start against Sheffield United, I think. But I think this game is a good game to play Davies in for his height.
I think if you're playing Davies, it would have to be next to Henderson.
I don't know. I just think this game's won or lost in midfield, and we're going to need Endo there. But then Gini's been doing a decent job at holding, so it wouldn't surprise me if it was the same team that played Leipzig. But if there is any change, I think the only change that would probably happen would be Davies.
I think he'll pull a madness out and throw Shaq in somewhere.
No,
I can't see him with us having a week until the next game. I can't see him making
Impact's up.
Yeah.
Shaq, and I don't think the Ox looked sharp when he came on against Leipzig. He looked the sharpest he's looked all season. I think Jones can't be dropped after that performance.
I don't know whether I seen a different game from Ox than what you seen. I thought he ran around like a headless chicken, to be honest.
No, in recent weeks he's been crap, but in that Leipzig game he just looked sharp. He looked like...
he looked, don't get me wrong, he looked fit. He looked like he was bouncing around, but I just think it seemed a bit like aimless.
Nah, he was... There was something different with the Ox. There's something different with the whole team.
Yeah. Something's clicked.
Yeah.
Something's definitely clicked with a lot of them.
But then I think you can't bench Jones. You can't.
Not after that.
Not after that performance.
No way.
Just keep playing him while he's in form. It's going to only help his confidence. The only one I'd maybe take out the midfield just to protect them is Thiago. We've seen he's got a hot head, and we know Richarlison.
I think Thiago will absolutely fight Klopp to the death if he tries to drop him, because I think he's got a personal point to prove.
Yeah, and off the back of that Leipzig game, the whole team just clicked. Why not just play them again? Why change what's working at the minute? And obviously, it's probably going to be the last game where we have got a bit of a selection crisis, because the next game you're going to have Fabinho back, so he's a centre back. So then Henderson's finally back in the midfield. Yeah. Then we've got Jota back, Kaiser's back. Klopp's got Eddie.
Yeah.
So I think playing Jones is a good idea, because then Jones is Eddie's like, right, Kaiser and that's coming back. Henderson's coming back in the midfield. I need to play well.
It's another opportunity for Jones to say, Jones will know this. Jones will know these players are coming back. So it'll be an opportunity for him to go, you can't drop me because I've just played 10 out of 10 again.
Yeah. Hopefully one of us are right today.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk. You know what? All I've done is speak after defeats lately, because on that transfer room, we're doing like post-match after every game. And since we started doing transfer room, we hadn't won a game.
Jim.
But the bad luck charms the dog. Since I got in, we've both been crap.
Yeah.
It's getting sold. Nice to have coming on. Everyone, if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to leave a like, rate, and subscribe. Comment massively helps the channel. You may think it doesn't, but it really does help the channel if you do that. If you're listening anywhere else, on Spotify, Apple Music Podcast, anything like that, do subscribe to it. Also helps the channel. Nice one for everyone for listening. We will be back before the Sheffield United game discussing the derby, and hopefully with discussion an absolute thrashing, because the Blues are terrible. Nice one for listening.